always been like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
This is taking me forever to send this to her. I haven't even texted her yet. I'm like not focusing well.
That's okay.
Okay, there we go. I finally sent it. But see, now I'm looking at email because that's what I'm doing. So I'm like, what is all this crap? I don't want to see any of this.
All orders. There we go. Yep. Let's see. Oh, nope, I didn't want to do that. Oh, I hate this. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes, I want to cancel. The thing is with eBay, it's nice because it's like, oh, my phone loves me and goes cha-ching, cha-ching when I sell stuff. But at the same time, it's like, oh, every once in a while I get something like this where I'm like bending over backwards to try to fix stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they keep redoing the dashboard, so it looks weird. And I have to figure everything out again.
That's something that I'm getting really sick of is the constant changing of the programs and my iPhone, and like it's constantly changing. I'm like, stop it. I'm old. I can't handle it.
Okay. Come down here.
Wow, I'm surprised she hasn't come on yet.
Maybe if
So
I
I never,
pull.
sorry, I never did see the email you were talking about. My email thread just showed comments between Tina and me.
Huh.
And I'm like, no idea where that went. But anyway, so thank you for responding last night because I was about to just email it in, which would have made us look stupid. So
Yeah, afterwards, like, yeah, so here it's like, hi Susan and Tisha. I added 847 words. Let me know if you need to correct. And then I'm like, well, you have is good. And then I was like, I thought you were doing workplace safety instead.
to
And
me,
no, to Tina, because she said she wrote 180 words, and I looked at it, and she did like compensation or motivate. She did something else that I thought you were supposed to be doing.
no, I was safety.
Right. I thought she was safety, and so like, that's
Yeah.
great. I thought you were safety, and I was
Oh,
having
so
a little mini
like
heart
you
attack.
both have done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't get any of that. What's the email you have for me?
Let's see. It's your Gmail.
Which one?
Your Tisha Stolt.
TICIASTOLT@gmail?
Yes.
None, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, and then under that you said I just added 1350 and a bibliography, and
Right, because I responded to Tina. Every time I responded, I was responding to Tina. So
okay, because yeah, okay, thanks.
yeah.
And did, and then Tina wrote to you saying something. You're like, good. I'm glad you found some more. I'm ready to get. I guess it's ready to go. And then Tina's like, no more changes. And I'm like, all right. And I said, okay. I added like my part of the bibliography because I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll send it in. And
I did not get any of those. Okay, seriously, what is the email? Like, spell it out.
Yeah, it's right. It's TICIASTOLT
@gmail.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I just responded to. Maybe that was the problem. We're both responding just to Tina.
But did you ever see my responses?
I
Did I
did.
reply all?
It just says to Tina and me, so you responded to me too. Apparently my responses were just to Tina.
Oh, there we go. Wait, you're telling me you're like, no, I said this. And I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's been no response from you at all. I'm like, what is she thinking? It's not there. Anyway.
I see it. But yeah.
So last night, like 1 a.m, I'm like, she must not have my right email address. Like, but anyway, so good. Okay, good. Yay. I'm not losing my mind.
No, you're not.
Good. Okay. No big deal. It all got done, so thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
okay, I'm a little concerned now that she's not getting on.
Maybe here, let me see if I can let me go to my Hangouts. Inbox, social. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
I'll be right back.
Let's see. Week 9. Okay. Listing that.
Well, she didn't answer. Let's give her like 3 more minutes and then we'll start, which would be a very boring and fast discussion. And he would just have to deal with it. Good. You can't really talk between 2 people. I'm going to go grab a snack. Hang on.
Okay.
Still nothing, huh?
Nope.
That's weird. All right. Let's just do it.
All right. Orders. Okay, give me 2 more seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then
just finish, it's fine.
Okay. List. Come on, go. Edit. Off of that. Save, close, confirm. All right. Leaving. List item. Okay. Let's get on with this, and then hopefully I can. I remember reading through this and just going, I have no idea what they're even like. I understood that he was revamping his he came up with his plan and everyone's like, he's been working so hard on this plan and we should give it a shot. And people are like, well, my team's doing awesome. I don't want to get dragged down by the other people.
Well, so one thing that I thought was very interesting. Oh, wait, press record.
Oh, I did. We've been recording a while.
I don't want to start talking if it doesn't count. Okay. One thing I thought was interesting was that they, apparently they had this group, what was their group? The Special Committee for Compensation Redesign. But, and apparently they all went out and talked to different people and brought back some concerns. And then this guy took it upon himself to create a new plan and then bring it to them. And so to me, that was like, wait, that's not a group way of creating the plan. All he used them for was to get information, and then he made his own decisions based on that information, how he perceived the information. But then also at the end of the whole discussion, the CEO, I think, Sam Verity, right, is the CEO? It doesn't matter, but he says, I believe in the plan, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, I'm going to take Gilbert's plan, think about your input, and then roll out the new system next month. Mm-hmm. So basically, to me, that says he didn't hear anything that was said. He's still going to implement the plan. So that to me was like the biggest thing. There was no group creating this, and there's not going to be any backing in the company.
Exactly. He was like, well, that's nice that you all think this. I'm just going to do what I want to do.
Right. Which is a terrible leader quality.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so technically what we're supposed to do, which I think is going to be really, really hard. We're supposed to
work with tools.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to assign each member of the group. We're going to do role playing. Yes.
I hate role playing.
Me too. So we're supposed to be like, one person's supposed to be Sid Noble, another person's supposed to be Ruth, another person's supposed to be Miles and Gus and Tim Purcell. And then he's like, it's okay if you don't have enough team members to fill every role. So, okay, step one, prepare for roles. The students should have read, which we did, and review the different individuals. But now that they know which role they will actually be playing, they will have more incentive to really understand the person's point of view. Give the group about 5 to review the perspectives of the person they've been designed from the case. Tell them that the more they really act out their character, they just want people to look like idiots. Act out your character, the better the discussion will be. And so then please assume your role as Gilbert. I guess I'm Gilbert. Gilbert was the one that came up with the actual plan. Yes.
Gilbert Porterfield, yeah. Uh-huh.
He's the one that came up with the plan. Call the members of your team by their top chem role name. Get into character as much as you can. Begin by saying something like, welcome to the Top Chem Pay Committee meeting. As you know, Sam Verity has asked me, I'm Gilbert, to lead this committee. Although I work hard, I can read too. That's why I'm a top chem person. Although I worked hard on the initial pay plan, I realized that no plan will be successful without support from employees. I want to get your support so we can create a pay plan that will be best for everyone. So let's see.
Who do you want me to be?
Who would you like to be?
They're all pretty gripey.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, we kind of discussed it too, where nobody liked it because everyone was like, well, I don't want to be judged on the fact that this guy I'm being paid on what this guy does.
Right.
I'll
be Ruth. Ruth something. What's her name?
Porterfield, was it?
Gibson. Ruth Gibson.
Mm-hmm. So Ruth, what do you think of the plan?
Plan sucks because My team has worked really hard. We worked weekends and holidays, and we went, she said, gangbusters. We were like so awesome, and we made all these differences. So I'm trying to find where those differences were because I highlighted them.
So you worked weekends.
They worked weekends. We worked weekends, and we had this guy in there who was a scientist, but he really liked being in a group because what's his face? Sid Noble said that scientists like to work alone, and our scientist likes working with us because he does his job better because he knows where the products go and he has a stake in them. He knows how the products go together.
Mm-hmm.
But the performance of my group shouldn't be tied to the performance of everyone in the whole factory because not everybody in the factory has taken on this group mentality. And so they haven't made the same kinds of improvements we had. They haven't put in the effort. So we should be compensated more. We should get more of the benefits. And something else here. Oh, we haven't had a pay raise in 2 years. And then, so if we go with what the company does and how it improves over the year, then frankly, my team's punished because these other teams are getting some of our great rewards passed to them because everybody is being compensated the same. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's my snotty take on it.
Yeah.
She was kind of rude. So.
And Mike's take on it was, well, I don't see a problem with it because overall company performance is, we're all employees together, and
yeah,
too bad because we've had through highs and lows and we've always worked as a team, and
right,
so it'll work itself out.
And his pay, he said, because he was a top, isn't he one of the, he's the CFO, the Miles Heddock, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, apparently his name's Mike, he just typoed it.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
he's a CFO.
60% of those employees are compensated based on how the company does, which is 4% of the company, all the employees. And so he's like, it should be like that for everybody. I'm like, okay, well, 60% of your pay, like let's say you only get 40% of your pay, that's $400,000, is very, very different than someone who gets $40,000 a year and is only going to get 40% of that. So it can't be the same.
Right.
And you're always going to spend what you make, but there's a huge difference. It comes down to absolute necessities for some people and complete luxuries for others.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. Let's see, Gus Teller, what he said. Gus agrees with Miles.
Yes,
I agree with Miles. I agree with myself about tying the performance of the company, but for different reasons. I'm just gonna read, because there's benefits, and what are the benefits? Productive teams have members who tell each other what works and what doesn't. So basically, we can teach each other. So why can't Ruth be a team player and teach all of us how the team does it?
Because now I'm Bill Purcell. You can't tell other people how to do their job. You can't say, let's go get a beer and talk about it, which is so true. You can't tell somebody else how to do their job. There has to be cross-training and group mentality, like different members of different groups to get together to see how things are done, or supervisors are required to talk to each other, or, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There to be covered all.
Exactly. And Gil's just like, I worked really hard on this.
I know, which is great. But you shouldn't have done all the work on your own.
Mm-hmm. You should talk to some more people.
Yeah. Let your committee do some of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we can brainstorm.
Oh, good.
And scene. So brainstorming, begin by asking, so the committee, we need to brainstorm ideas for a better pay plan. So ask Gus to be the scribe, try to write down at least 20 ideas from the group.
I don't think we're going to come up with 20. Let's shoot for 8.
Okay. So
how do we make the plan better? Is that what they're asking?
Kind of, yeah. How do we make a better pay plan?
we're just brainstorming. I think this is one of the things I wrote down. I think that there should be a company-wide motivation part of the salary and a group part of the salary. So like if your group's performing well, then you get a certain portion, but if the company does well, you get a certain portion. Mostly because one of the things that I came up with is that there might be a group who always has this potential for growth and improvement. Like what were the criteria? That they can improve their quality, they can improve their unit cost to market, where another group who's working like on a very old type of product that's like a stable product they're not going to have as much growth potential. They're not going to be able to make as much efficiency improvements and stuff. So they shouldn't be punished because they can't meet a 5% difference,
Growth.
where an R&D part's going to be like huge possibility of growth. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
So,
yes, it does.
so
Very good.
Anyway, so my point was a portion of the salary is based on group performance and a portion is based on company performance.
Mm-hmm. Would we want to break it up into more of a like a 70-30, or like you get 70% is company performance and then 30 is group? That way if your group perform that well, you're still not getting undercut in your pay as much.
Right. Maybe.
Or maybe a 20-80.
28-72.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else do you think? What else could we do?
Bonuses for groups that do excel.
Definitely. I think the plan needs to be, the criteria needs to be specified more, like what the pay is based on. That's what he has is a very general, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's kind of, what's the word? You know, it's like, well, they do good, so everyone does well, as opposed to, yeah.
I'm just going to put more specific criteria. What about?
I'm just looking at the plan again. Speed to market.
Yeah, I was trying to see too.
Safety and environmental compliance. Vision for finance performance.
One of these guys, who was this Donald Berwick, I really liked how he said that there needed to be value of learning based in there. There has to be some sort of compensation for rewarding new competencies and learning. Not just improving what you do, but improving your training and expertise.
And how you do it.
Yeah.
Would be the training.
We got 4 so far.
See, this one guy, he worked for Monsanto. Ooh.
You know that company?
Yeah.
Oh.
Never heard of it. They're like the largest genetically modified people. They're like, you know, if they get a lot of crap. They really do, because they have their fingers in everything, like politically.
Oh.
They're kind of the people behind that say, you know, we're not going to label genetically modified foods. You know, push that through, going, no, that's not an issue. And they sue, like if a farmer in nearby fields, if they find some of their products in those farmers' fields, they sue the farmer. And it's like, yeah, look up Monsanto sometime if you're. So they're a big GMO company. Anyway, let's see. He said there's no ownership by either the employees or the development team. Plan was created by Gil with some input from top and middle management. Yeah, so
it needs to be created by the group.
Yeah, we would ask the group how they would like to be paid.
Right.
What you've been saying the whole time.
This guy also mentioned cross training, and I think that has to be an important part of creating this group mentality company-wide.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
the other thing, sorry.
That with the cross training, that is very important, because sometimes you can be if you're dividing your group up into like, this group does this part of the machine and this part does this part of the machine, they have to know how those two are going to work together.
Yeah. Well, there are oftentimes things that another group is doing that, although it doesn't translate exactly to your group, you could take part of that and go, oh, we could be more efficient by doing whatever, because they did it.
Exactly.
It also needs to include intrinsic non-financial motivation. Compensation formulae can only do so much. The best quality managers understand celebration, recognition, the joy of good work as powerful motivators.
So everyone who does well gets a cookie.
Right, exactly. I want a cookie. Seriously, I do a lot of things for a cookie.
You'd totally be surprised how far a donut could get people.
I know. So true. Non-financial motivation. We're at 7.
Let's see. Non-financial. Let's see. Motivation often becomes a surrogate for issues that create ideological arguments that are not focused on the real work at hand. Talk about pace sets off battles that have little to do with the work. Performance objectives of the entire organization. So basically, what this one guy's saying is that they need to kind of give performance objectives and say, this is where we need to go. You know, these are our goals. Because it's one thing if you say, okay, guys, improve, go for it. And it's another thing to say, okay, we're going to get to this bar right here and beyond.
Yeah.
So it gives you a little bit more of a direction.
Yeah, definitely. That might even tie into that more specific criteria. It gives them something very specific to work towards, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Another one that one of these guys said, they need to figure out what motivates their workforce, what works in their culture, and then once they figure out what that motivation is, then the plan will follow. You know, maybe those scientists aren't working for money. Maybe they're working for donuts.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what I volunteer for. I volunteer for the lunch at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I get a cookie with it, and they're good cookies. Yeah.
So, what's the next part?
Cookies. Okay. I think we have
That's
our
9.
goals.
Yeah.
That's plenty. Let's see. Brainstorm. 20 ideas. Okay. Analysis of the ideas. So go through each idea to talk about pros and cons, include a discussion of which employees will be happy or unhappy with each option. I think we kind of did that too with each one.
Kind of.
So which is better? Guaranteed pay that. So which is better? Guaranteed pay that is the same for all employees based on market rates, or seniority or incentive pay that is linked to performance. So
I would like to be able to say that performance pay is the way to go, but no, there has to be a minimum amount that people will be paid, and in my opinion, it has to be market value. You cannot say we will definitely pay you 75% of market value and hopefully you'll get more than that. Most people are not going to come to work for that. They're really not. Most of us need to know what our money is going to be, because 99% of our country works paycheck to paycheck. So we have to know what it's going to be. Okay, maybe not 99%. I just pulled that out of my butt. But anyway,
right, the majority.
But I definitely think there should be a portion of it that is based on how well they're doing. And it doesn't have to be huge. They could do a 2% bonus, call it, if the companies in the groups meet certain benchmarks. I mean, that still adds up to a lot.
And that's kind of where minimum wage comes in. Minimum wage is a guaranteed, you will make this base pay depending on your job. And so that's kind of where that comes into play, where they have a base pay, but then the incentive to actually perform your job can then be stepped up to the seniority with the incentive pay.
Okay.
That's performance.
Although I
So
just, yeah, I did just think of one group though, like waitresses. You know, they don't make minimum pay. They work for tips, and depending on how well they do at their job, they could get really good tips. And then there's always the people who aren't going to tip like they should, but you know.
Right.
So I guess incentive pay does work.
Mm-hmm.
But I would rather know that I'm going to be financially taken care of, not
And
wealthy, but you know what I mean. But that my needs are going to be met, and then work to greater, like, not necessities, greater things that I would work for that because I would want them.
right. And that's where the base pay comes in handy.
Yeah.
Because if you have a certain monetary number in mind for what you feel that you can have to live on, that's when you find a job that pays that much.
Good.
Yeah. If you can live on 25,000, then okay, get a job that's the base pay. If you live in a place like New York where 25 on the street corner,
right,
you need to be some sort of financier or something
right,
100,000, and then you can buy a little one-room apartment.
Exactly.
So you need to have the base pay is probably the best beginning, and then to continue on, that's where, yeah, very good, I think. All right. So if you use an incentive pay system, which is better, to tie pay into individual performance, team performance, or company performance, or a combination?
Not individual.
Mm-hmm.
Individual always make people go out for themselves. That's all they care about, is this one right here and how I look to my bosses, and so I can get the most possible.
Mm-hmm. So which would be better, so then between team performance or company performance, or would it be just a combination?
I think a combination. And I think that goes back to that very first one we were brainstorming about, the group performance and the company performance. But how much? Like, I kind of liked your 30% for group performance and 70% for company, because that really gets people to work in their group and to focus on their group, but it also creates a team mentality. We're in this together.
Right. Okay. Will incentive pay increase employee? So with incentive pay, will that increase employee motivation? Why or why not?
I think it will, but you have to factor in those other motivating factors, the non-financial ones.
Mm-hmm.
The cookies or the donuts, the plaques on the wall, a certificate, maybe an extra week of pay, like an extra week of vacation,
Mm-hmm. And this isn't really a question or anything, but something to also take into consideration is the type of person that you're rewarding. Do they like being, here's your plaque, or is that completely embarrassing to them and they're just like,
right. Yes, and that's something, I don't know if it was in this class or a different class I had to take, that it talked about that, like, you need to know your employees and how best to motivate each individual employee.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another reason why this might not work, because this might not motivate some people.
Exactly.
You need me? Okay. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Let's see. Now that you've considered the advantages and disadvantages of different pay approaches, see if you can get the group to agree on a pay approach. If you agree, close the meeting and say you'll take the suggestion to Sam Verde.
Oh, was I still supposed to be Ruth?
I guess so. Oops.
It's kind of impossible to do with just two of us.
I know.
So I don't know, what's our approach then?
I think we kind of liked this, like the 70-30 approach with the group, and the company wide, where, you know, the group we get, or the company wide, everyone has their base pay of 70%, and depending on how the company does, and then if your group does really well, then that would affect your 30%.
Oh, see, and that's not how I heard that.
Oh,
I thought we were giving them a base salary like they have, and that doesn't change. And this 70 and 30 would be a percentage of whatever amount we decide to give, like as a bonus.
okay, yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking, but it may not have come out.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay. But how much of a bonus would we give, or would it be completely dependent on how well the company does each year?
I think it depends on how well the company does.
Okay.
We don't know what the actual number values are, so we can't say, you know, well, they each get $100,000 bonus this time.
Right.
They each get $5.
$5, yes. Go buy yourself a coffee. $5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about the non-intrinsic, whatever it was called, the intrinsic non-financial motivations? Are we going to include that as part of our?
I think so. I think that if the company does well, things. I mean, if we don't, if people are like diabetic or something, we can. We could. I know my husband. He worked for a company down in Florida that it was a big company, and so every year they would rent out like a stadium, and they would just have like a family fair that.
Oh, fun.
There was bingo, there was, you know, games and rides, and there was like a baseball game, and it was just all free. And that was kind of, you know, hey, congratulations, you guys did great. Here's our company fair, and here's, you
I
know,
like that.
yeah, go win something at bingo.
So maybe a portion of whatever the proceeds from the company, like whatever percentage is decided upon for the year, could be used for company-wide benefits, or given so much to different managers for them to decide what to do for their groups or individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Would that work?
Exactly. Yep. And if there isn't enough to really pay for something big and extravagant, then it could just be divided up among all the employees.
Yeah.
Here's your $5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that would motivate them to work harder the next year.
Mm-hmm. So they can get 10.
That's right. Or maybe 50.
Mm-hmm. And then they also need to set those goals to achieve that. To say, okay, we want to grow 25% so that we can grow our bonuses that much more. You know, if everybody improves this much, then and achieves this, if we can roll out this product in this amount of time, then we've achieved our goal, and that means we can reap in the benefits sooner, which increase our costs, or not our costs, but our revenue.
Yeah. So our plan is to have very specific goals and criteria that will determine how much improvement we make, and thereby how much money our company makes. And then we use 70% of it comes from company-wide, and 30% goes to groups. And then there's also the non-financial motivators that are included in that amount.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I think we covered it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And so I would like to thank everybody for attending this meeting, and we shall bring it to an end.
Yay. Okay. Bye, Sam Verity, or whatever your name is.
Yes. I think I was Gil. Bye, Ruth.
Oh, sorry. Were you Gil Porterfield? Yeah, you were.
Okay, now we can all relax out of our things and return to our own identities as each group member to explain what they think is the best approach to compensating at ChemTeam, which I think we did.
I think we just did that.
Yes. So what's the most important thing you learned? I have the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have. Oh, so I have to answer. Thanks. Okay. The most important thing I learned, probably that you have to figure out people's motivations before you can make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to use a group to do something, you need to use the group. If you're going to be Relief Society president and you have counselors and a secretary, you need to use them as counselors, not just as people that you tell what to do.
Mm-hmm. So on a scale of 0 to 10, we did awesome. Our role playing was spectacular.
Yeah, great.
So let's see. I'm sure as a discussion leader, you like that I actually showed up. Yay. And
Yes.
that we did the role play anyway.
Yeah, we did do it. I'm proud of us for that.
Let's see. I'm not going to ask what we could do better next time because there really wasn't.
It's hard when there's just 2 or 3 of us.
I know.
You're
I put
great.
that in the feedback. So I was like, when he was like asking what he wants us to know, I was like, you need to remember that our group is there. We're doing the work of 7 people and there's only 3 of us.
Thank you for saying that, because that was frustrating me with the whole word count, and he wants 10 pages, and I'm like, that's a lot of work for 3 of us. So
Mhm.
I'm glad you said that.
Well, good. All right. I think that's about it. So
Okay.
I'm probably gonna, I think I'll take this one and I'll start writing some stuff up because I just want to be done with this semester. And so I'm just like,
Okay, so you've got compensation? Is that what
yeah,
you're saying?
yes, whatever this week was, I will do it.
Well, it was compensation and employee benefits. But I don't think we have to do both.
Okay. I think we could kind of tackle because compensation kind of it can be I find that all inclusive because sometimes compensation is the employee benefits.
Okay. All right. So you've got
That,
those 2. Okay.
that's kind of how that works. Because like compensation can be like you get 100% of your insurance paid for.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say that I want the next one because I don't want organized labor. I don't want to have to talk about unions.
Okay.
So I don't know which I'll do, discipline and wage or hour laws, but or combine it. I don't know. We'll see when we read next week.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
interesting. So
Yeah. Okay. And then I'm submitting next time. So, and this really isn't an issue for you because you get your work done so early, but I'm going to tell Tina that I need it before Saturday
okay.
because I'm not doing it on Sunday. So,
Yeah.
but
All right.
this time she had it done like 4 days early. So maybe it
Yeah.
won't even be an issue.
I
All
was
right. So
very happy
should we
about
just, should we just tell her she's organized labor? Maybe I'll ask her. You okay with organized labor? She probably has experience with that.
that. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Is there anything else